Yes, people. We're live. We're live. It's the Transfer Daily, Armory TV. We're getting into it. And
I like
only
that.
every time Tony makes a new clip, is trying to get the shortest clip possible ever. But we don't do too much. How you keeping, Canners? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. And yourself? Happy New Year and all that.
Yeah. Cheers. Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm just happy with yesterday's result. Like, you know what I mean? Saturday I was
Yeah.
left after Tottenham got that late winner. Like, it just hurt me. But good old United.
United, a gift that keeps on giving, man. You know what I mean? Make me feel
Ah,
so much better after that.
definitely. So yeah, and I was to say, look, I'm watching them, and I'm thinking actually Arsenal are still on the right tracks to a certain degree. Do you know
100.
what I mean? So yeah, it's got to keep trusting in it, and hopefully again next got a bit of a spread out fixture list now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Couple
Yeah.
of cup matches as well, so take a bit of pressure off of the league performance. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. So yeah, quick roundup of your thoughts from Saturday, watching back the game, and do you know what I mean, seeing all the video clips. Are you even
Yeah.
more certain that was a penalty? Because I was kind of saying maybe
Xhaka's
it wasn't.
definitely a penalty. Got no
Mm,
arguments with that. Odegaard, I think, also was a penalty.
yeah.
Um, I think he got hit before Edison got the ball.
Mm,
And again, my biggest gripe really is the fact that they checked one but not the other.
yeah.
Um, that's my biggest gripe, basically. So, listen, a lot's been going on with VAR and everything. So hopefully, certain things will get kind of sorted out.
Mm,
Because it's getting a bit contentious now about what's being, how VAR is going. The
yeah.
technology is not the issue; it's the people behind it.
How they're using it. Yeah. I don't really watch much European football as I used to, but it'd be interesting to see how they're getting on with their VAR stuff
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
don't hear so much outroar anywhere else apart from in England. So something's definitely not right with
So
how we're
yeah,
using it.
yeah.
But I
Exactly.
suppose that's another topic for another show. Let's just get into the important stuff. Transfer season. Two avid football manager players here, so it's our
Oh,
favourite time of the year.
I tell you.
So yeah, so I'm not sure if you've seen the kind of news coming out this morning. I haven't got any still images, but we could just talk about it. We've all kind of seen the numbers. We've all seen what he's been doing in Italy
Mm,
at the moment. So the big talk at the moment is Vlahovic. Reports coming out today. Arsenal are in talks with Fiorentina already about Torreira making his move permanent, and can we use that as part of the deal to get Vlahovic over to the Emirates? So first of all, thoughts on that, and obviously the Torreira thing. Does that help and strengthen us in order to try and get the player?
yeah, I've mentioned this before. That listen, they've got Torreira. Why not use him as a? He wants to stay there.
Hmm.
We obviously want to sell him. It makes sense adding him into the actual transfer for Vlahovic, and it just makes absolute sense. The only question is how much do Fiorentina value Torreira really, and how much we
Mm.
value Torreira. That would be the question. I think the price for Vlahovic is around the 70 million mark, and I think if we could do that now, if we value Torreira around the 10, 15, I don't know, 15 million mark,
Yeah, I'd say that.
a 55 million pound, that means 55 million pounds for Vlahovic. And today's market, really, 55 million is for what
Mm.
you're going to get.
To me, like obviously you got your big guns like Lewandowski, obviously Haaland, but for me, I think Vlahovic is probably the form striker at the moment.
Yeah.
In terms of what he's doing, his numbers this season, like he's just in
The
beast mode,
only
isn't
other
he?
player in the world that you could get, I think, on that level for pretty much the same price would be getting Mbappe on a free.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
And so
Or
you
you,
you you spread his costs or whatever out of what over 4 years or whatever it is.
mm,
That's the only way. But
yeah,
obviously, I think he's gone Real Madrid. So
yeah.
I
He's not.
don't
We're
think
not. Yeah, I
Mbappe
don't think
will
we're in
be
the
coming
market.
up.
We're not in the market for Mbappe and Haaland this year. But I know Haaland's got the release clause. It activate. It comes into kind of activation in the summer, doesn't it? But all the big clubs are going to be sniffing him. So for me, what Edu and Arteta are doing now makes perfect sense. I think they know if they wait till the summer, they will lose Vlahovic because again, just say five teams are in for Haaland, he can only go to one. So four other teams now need a striker. If they've got the money there, then
Boom,
they take
Vlahovic.
Vlahovic as the
Yeah,
second choice. So I think it definitely makes sense to try and go real heavy in January for him and
Yeah,
try and
just pay,
secure it as
pay,
early as
pay it,
possible.
and I think it's a good strategy in a sense. To be fair, you can see our shortcomings. I mean, Lacazette does a great job up there,
Mm.
does what he does, but there's something extra that's needed, and I think Vlahovic will probably be able to add that.
Mm.
He'll be able to do the same stuff that Lacazette does, plus that little bit more.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's something which I think if they at the moment we don't know how strong the rumors are,
mm.
and whether or not it is true, because obviously right now
It's just paper
it
talk.
makes sense. Yeah, the story makes sense. In the
Yeah.
sense that it's a good story or an easy story to make up.
Hmm.
Fiorentina want Torreira. Oh, add that
We
to
want
we need a
Vlahovic.
striker, and
Mm.
so once I guess that the certain transfer gurus start making their putting their tweets out, etc.,
Yeah.
then we'll see what's what.
Definitely. So with him, I think all the fans at the moment will be the dream signing. Obviously, we spoke yesterday. Well, Tony spoke yesterday about Isak, who may be second choice. Again, these things happen. You open talks up with lots of teams with different players to get a feeling of what the transfer fee would be, what his
Mm.
salary would be, and then obviously you
Yep.
pull the trigger once you kind of decide which one you want. So I think the good thing is we're sticking to the same model. It looks like of that
Young,
kind of 20 under 25, I would say, player.
because I think Vlahovic
Um,
is 22, is he? I
yeah,
think
he's young
21.
still, and he's actually I think he's same age or younger than Vlahovic. So it
Yeah.
looks like we're looking in that market. We're not. Well, I think what's nice as well, even for the midfielder, we're not looking for a stopgap. Like
Mm.
the players we're getting linked with, it's not those Dennis Suarez come in and do half a season, a Danny Ceballos, or do you know what I mean? It's a player who's going to come in and within a few months should be starting and could be in the Arsenal team for the next 6 to 10 years
Yeah.
if everything goes to plan. So it looks like they're following the same kind of regime as the summer and not just finding a stopgap. It looks like we're going for first team players like to improve the team, not just to
At a
fill
good
numbers.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I'm happy with that. So obviously we saw the Ramirez link yesterday. Haven't seen much else about a midfielder today, but for you, if we couldn't get Ramirez, is there anyone you would be interested in? Um, who'd you be looking at? Because it looks like we definitely need a midfielder, and we're definitely looking at one.
Whatever happened to Hassan? Oh,
It seems like that's just fallen off, isn't it? Like,
that's weird. Because how much we was pursuing that guy? Whatever
mm,
happened there? I don't know. I mean, what's the deal with him? What's he been doing? Because I remember at the time, for me, he was a decent acquisition.
mm,
I mean, the Bruno Guimaraes one obviously is something that would be great. Um, I'm not. I'm undecided with Sanchez, Renato Sanchez. I'm
yeah,
undecided with that one. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. I got half. I got half disturbed by this.
you know, he talks sense, don't he? Mike Riley. If I saw the name, I thought, how dare you come in here? But yeah, we have got a tendency to believe, but I think there's something a bit more aggressive about these guys in the market this year. Who would have thought we would have got Partey after being in like UEFA Cup for how many years? He's left Atletico Madrid. We
Yep.
managed to get that one done. Gabriel, there was Napoli, who were Champions League team, United Champions League team, sniffing around him and putting bids in, and we managed to secure him. Uh,
Odegaard.
yeah, there's another one. So I think where we got linked with some players in the summer, and it didn't happen. People think they turned us down, but I said from the start, I don't think we was heavily in for Buendia. Um, and people, I had so many fans talking rubbish. Oh, you got outbid for Buendia, and I was like, we don't think we actually went in for him. Like, I think it was last minute
I
Aston
think
Villa.
we dodged a bullet there with that one for what he's
Yeah,
been
and
producing this year. We
yeah,
dodged
no
a
one's
bullet.
really talking about it now, are they? But
Nah,
yes,
not at all.
those
That's
things.
gone
I think
quiet.
exactly. If you look how much we did spend, we definitely had the money for him. But I think it was a case of, oh, if they're going to go 35, we're stopping at 30, and that's that. So
Yeah, I
you
think
never know.
look what we're getting for 30 mil with Odegaard.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it is what it
makes
is.
sense.
So yeah, you can dream. We can dream. We can dream, Mike Riley.
Just want to
Um,
go back to Isaac. Sorry, I mean,
mm,
for me, there's a lot of players talking about his numbers, All right, sorry, a lot of people talking about his numbers. Now that to me, it doesn't really kind of. I've watched him play, and I have been watching him play. I really did watch him during the Euros, and I like his feet. I really like his feet. He's good in the air. He's good on the ground. He's fast. And I know he's kind of long and gangly, but he's so young. He will fill out. He will fill out. The thing is, even Rio Ferdinand has come out in his YouTube program saying that he likes him as well as a player. If we could get him, we should get him. I know he's not an authority of kind of like certain players or whatever, like a scouting, but I'm pretty sure Ferdinand has a decent kind of eye for a player. Do you know what I mean? With the levels and the types of player that he's played with. I honestly think if Vlahovic says categorically no, I don't feel that Isak will be too much of a drop down. I think he would be an improvement on what we have. And he's someone, again, who can develop.
That's it. I think that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's finding the right mold. Because again, it's not sugarcoated. Lacazette's goal return isn't as good as what you would expect. However, I'm not saying Vlahovic is that, but I don't want an out and out goal scorer, because we've had that in Aubameyang, and you see what happens to the rest of the team when it happens. And I'm watching United at the moment. Yes, as much as Ronaldo is putting up Ronaldo
or even
semi-Ronaldo numbers, but you see what's happening around it with Greenwood suffering, Bruno Fernandes is suffering, Rashford suffering. I'd much rather someone who complements Smith Rowe, Martinelli, and Saka and Odegaard, rather than getting this 30 goal a season. Not, it sounds mad to hear it, but if he scores 20,
I know what
but the
you're
rest
saying.
aren't scoring, it's counterproductive, isn't it? So we need someone who fits the mold, and I think Isaac and Vlahovic do. I think physically, do you know what I mean? They are strong. Isaac's feet are incredible, and again, it's systems suit sometimes, isn't it? Like, he might not be pulling up trees over there and scoring many, but actually, if you've now got Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli around you, you now might double up your numbers, because it could just work for you. So I think we need to stop looking at numbers so much, because we've seen players come in with bad stats and come hit the ground running. And again, you look at someone like Mane, who would have thought he would have done what he done in the Liverpool shirt? Do you know what I mean? Like Salah, I remember I was laughing when Liverpool signed him. I wasn't really paying attention to him over in Roma, and then this guy coming and scored like 11 in 11 games, and I'm thinking, who's this guy that's just turned up? Like,
how
he's
is
not
he
the same
doing
guy.
this? It's like, how is he doing this? He was nothing.
So sometimes you've got to trust in what the scouts are doing there. We're looking at things from such a basic level of, he's played this many games, he scored that many goals, whereas they're looking at other things. And you're seeing that now with the right back who doesn't know where he actually plays. Is he a centre back? Is he a left back? Is he a right back? Who's now become one of the best right backs in the league. Someone who's been relegated twice and is going to relegate Arsenal, has now been one of the best keepers this season. So I think we have to trust in what they're doing. They've got some big decisions right this window, because we were looking at the basics, weren't we? Of I don't know, some players were calling out just because of their name, and I was happy to get Trippier. Do you know what I mean? And now you're watching what they've brought. It seems to be working. So so we see. But just to go back on the midfielder talks, obviously we spoke about Gamirez, and you spoke about obviously Hasamawa yesterday. Do you think Ruben Neves has put himself back in the shop window for one of the bigger clubs, because his performance yesterday was unbelievable?
Oh yeah. I did watch him, to be fair, and I was kind of thinking he's exactly the type of player. Could you imagine him and Partey dovetailing? Yeah, he does everything what what we need, and also is athletic as well, and can get up and down the pitch. You know what? After that kind of performance, I mean, what kind of price would you be looking for him? That's the thing, and it'll be upwards of 40 million. That's at a minimum.
Yeah, I think he's definitely added value to his price tag since the start of the summer, hasn't he? Like,
maybe one of the things also just like to add is that he also, because even Matinho was tremendous yesterday, and the thing is, it just shows actually how poor United's midfield is. So it kind of puts in perspective that maybe in January that United are going for a midfielder.
Yeah,
maybe because there has been talk previously of Neves and United. So it'd be interesting. But yeah, definitely Neves. yeah, it'll be. I just remember the ball he just plucked from the air. It was like, right in the end, and just don't. He just
Instant.
killed it with one touch. It was just. I just like. Oh,
They're proper players, them guys, aren't they?
yeah.
So yeah, I think what kind of attracts me to him as well is he knows the Prem. So I wouldn't have no issue. I think he would hit the ground running.
Running,
And
absolutely.
Wolves, I know for the last few years they've been more of a counter-attacking team, but a few years ago and now they do play good football. So I think it would be seamless him coming in. The Basuma talk's gone really quiet, hasn't it? Like,
Very, very.
so again, that could be a cheeky one you go in for because his price tag's probably dropped a little bit.
Yeah, I
So
mean, there was talking originally it was around 40 million.
mm,
I don't know, man. It's just something again, which it could happen. But hasn't he gone away to the African Cup of Nations?
probably yeah, he probably has actually. Now you say that.
Um,
So yeah, maybe
and,
we
and
leave
I'm
that
not
one.
sure whether that will be a deciding factor, or whether
Mm,
that is a factor of whether we are going to get someone in now, or whether we're going to get someone in the summer. Maybe that's a summer transfer that
yeah.
happens. Who knows?
Yeah, so just coming
Oh,
back to Mike
yeah,
Riley, and what he says, I think we all agree with this.
yeah,
The issue is there's too many teams ahead of Arsenal these days, second-rate players like Odegaard, who are not wanted by the elite for Arsenal. Sorry, man, just harsh reality. And you're kind of right. Not gonna kind of even push back on it too much. I think the Odegaard thing is correct. Is we might be a club where people remake their name as such. So there
mm,
was no doubt Odegaard was a heavy talent, but at that moment when we got him, do you know what I mean? He had a couple of loan spells. He looked okay in them, but none of the big teams were really going to go in for him. There's probably other players on their radar. So you can come to Arsenal, kind of try and build back up the reputation a bit. So yeah, no doubt. I do agree with you in that sense. And I think if you heard the start of the stream, me and Canners did say, I think the reason why we're going heavy for Vlahovic in January is because come summer, we then get blown out the water when, if you know what I mean, if Haaland and Mbappe go, to Madrid and Barca, say, then Bayern will probably be looking for a striker as
yeah.
Lewandowski's getting older. PSG would then need a striker. City might then come back looking. United might be looking. Depends what happens to Ronaldo. So yeah, in that case, we then don't stand a hope in hell getting Vlahovic. So I think that's why we're going heavy in Jan to try and
And
get
the
this
thing
done.
is, Vlahovic probably knows that, so it depends how
Yeah,
we,
operate. I think
sell
there'd be a
ourselves.
I think it'll be a big contract if we get him, and I think there will be a sell-on clause or a buyout clause where
Yeah,
if we don't get Champions League within a certain year, he then can leave for the same money we brought him for. So I do think if we were to get him, we have to put them sweeteners in there,
yeah.
to get that deal over the line. We almost have to give him everything he wants, and then if he comes through the door, then renegotiate a new contract in a year's time and try and get them clauses taken out because yeah, he again for him it would be almost a stepping stone if we're not
Yeah,
producing. Where if we
yeah.
then continue to go forward and improve and be regular in the top four, then he probably would be happy to stay. But yeah, I don't, well, on this channel anyway, we're not delusional. We do kind of know what Arsenal are. So we're big football manager players, me and Canners. So we get it.
I
But no,
mean,
thank you for the
the
comments,
thing
Mike
is
Riley.
this.
You are
I
talking
mean,
sense. I like it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, look, we don't the second rate players like Odegaard and what have you. Those kind of players. There's quality in there somewhere.
Mm,
Whether it comes out when he's with us is another thing, and whether we can get that out. At the moment, I think he's doing all right, and there's a lot of teams actually above us that would
mm,
probably take him as maybe not as a start, but maybe as a squad player. But
mm,
they would take him on the form what he's producing now. So
definitely.
the thing is, as long as we can keep going upwards, the trajectory is upwards. And we do obviously the holy grail would be Champions League football. If we can get that,
Mm,
then that just opens up a whole new avenue for us with the type of player that we can then get.
mm.
And then I think if for whatever reason we don't get Vlahovic in January and we do get Champions League football, I think we're in the conversation to get him.
Mm. Do you know, like, in terms of Arsenal as a project, I know it was meant to be a 15-minute, but we're going on for a couple of
I know,
extra.
I know.
You know, it's like, and Mike Riley, if you're still in the comments, let us know who you support, mate. We'd love to know who you follow. Um, but yeah, in terms of, I forgot what I was going to say now. My head's gone blank. Oh yeah, the project.
Yeah,
Like, if you're a young player, I think Arsenal as a project probably would be quite attractive compared to some. Like I look at United, and I think as much as they got great players, there's no question about it. They're like, do you know what I mean, on paper their players are ridiculous. They just look in a mess. Do you know what I mean? And like, there's
I'm
a big
so
transition
glad
to be had
because
there.
you're right. Man for man, their
Yeah,
squad
teams are joke.
is deep.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but
but they
it's
can't get a tune out of players like Rashford or Sancho.
yeah,
And
it's
these are players that you'd probably, at their peak or whatever, or they're playing at their best, you've been looking at upwards of 80,
mm,
90, £100 million players.
yeah,
If
easily,
they're,
easily
do you
if they're
know?
firing.
And
Yeah, but I think the project at Arsenal at the moment is probably quite an attractive one, where it seems like that again. I know we're not just going on the form of a couple of wins. You know what I mean? But actually, in terms of our transition, we're kind of coming to what was the end of it. The squad's a very, very young age. You can grow together. They all kind of want to work. They all want to prove themselves, don't they? So it's probably a place you can come and actually think, yeah, for 2, 3 years, you can see what the ambition is of this team, and it's exciting. Do you know what I mean? Whereas some, you might go to another club. Again, you look at Barcelona, freaking hell, they're an absolute mess.
yeah,
Like, so as much as the name's
financially,
massive,
on the
they
pitch,
can't even,
everything.
they just brought another player and can't register him. Like, do you know what I mean? It's I don't know what's going on down there. So yeah, as much as the name and the club is massive, it's like the project. Do you know what I mean? You might get caught in a project and it doesn't
Yeah,
work. Well, I think Real Madrid have got to go through that now with the midfield, haven't they? Where a lot of
absolutely.
their
Cruz and Modric are
Modric, Benzema's
on
getting to an
it.
age now,
Yeah,
so yeah, it seems like a lot of teams are going to go through this transition period. So, and it's going to be interesting to see how some of them come out of it. I know they have money to throw at it, a lot of those teams, but again, we've seen with Barcelona they've thrown a lot of money. It hasn't worked for them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
look, I've seen
yeah,
Hazard's numbers and Coutinho's numbers since going over there, and it's horrendous. So, yeah,
yeah.
we'll see what happens. But
Did you
yes,
just as a side? Did you see um Torreira's interview?
no, I haven't seen it.
So he had a brief interview. Basically, he was talking about his life in talking about how his football's going, etc., etc. So he spoke about the 3 leagues that he's played in. He's played in all
Mm,
3, the big
yeah,
leagues,
the Premier League, yeah,
Italy, Spain, and the Prem.
England, yeah.
And he said straight up, he was in his Fiorentina colours, and he said it was obviously a Fiorentina press conference, and he
Mm,
said, "Look, the Premiership's the best in the world." Um,
really?
yeah, he said that, and he said, as a player, it's another level. For a player, it's another level. When he said he's played in Spain. Yep, that's good, but the Premiership is another player, another level. Playing in the Premiership has given him the foundation of things where he's supposed to be, his positioning, etc., etc.
Mm,
Even though so when he's coming back now and playing in Italy, he's a better player.
mm,
And that was quite telling, really, and it just shows really how the players coming from Italy and other leagues have to have that kind of that bedding in period and actually deal with the intensity of the Prem.
mm,
Because if you have a player like that who's actually kind of said openly in a press conference that the Prem is another level,
mm,
he openly said it's probably the best league in the world.
yeah,
It kind of then, I don't know, does that put a dampener on the players like Vlahovic coming out? Is it too easy for him what he's doing there? Would
yeah,
he actually acclimatise to what we're doing over here in the
mm,
Prem? Um, you know, and also then it kind of puts into kind of some kind of context as to Thomas Partey coming from
yeah,
Spain and bedding in.
yeah,
So whatever player we get, and if we do get a forward, be it Isaac, be it Vlahovic, there's going to be a period basically where they're going to have to kind of bed in and
yeah.
maybe
And
not hit the ground running. You
and
never
what
know.
you're saying, it kind of makes sense for a January move now because as well, because you
Yeah,
still got Lacazette to take some of that burden off you for six
yeah,
months or just under, if you got me, half a season, say.
that's that as
He
well.
could take a lot of pressure
100%.
off you because then come September, you're now the main person because
Yeah,
potentially he's gone, Aubameyang potentially could be gone, and Eddie Nketiah could be gone. So it's now we're all looking at you. So yeah, for half a season, it may make sense to, do you know what I mean? Just feed you in a little bit, get used to the Prem. We still got, I said, Lacazette to back it up. We got Eddie there. Who knows what happened with Aubameyang, but it just gives you that little bit of time to get used to it before next season. Now you're the main man.
Yeah.
And I read this just down. I don't think Silver Fox has learned his lesson from the summer, has he?
No, no, he's poking us here. He's poking us. He's poking the hornet's nest, isn't he?
Yeah,
Um,
he knows I love Eddie though. Eddie's my guy, but yeah, as I said with Isaac and David, it's not read too much into numbers because like I mean, I don't think
Eddie
Arsenal
is
fans
not better
wanted
than them.
Ramsdale. I saw the outcry when Ramsdale signed, and yeah, we've seen how that's ended. So let's just wait and see. Let's play the waiting game. But on that note, you got anything else you want to add?
No, that's it, man. Just the only thing about Aubameyang. There's a lot of talk with Newcastle.
Mm.
Um, Obviously, for me, I wouldn't mind that. Take
But
the
there was,
wages off.
yeah.
With a loan, with a option or a mandate to buy.
Mm.
Um, I'll take that all day. To be honest.
Yeah, I think
Um,
there was talk of Juve as well, wasn't it? But I think they're
yeah,
looking at Icardi now, so we'll see what happens.
we'll see.
But
We'll see. That story
yeah,
will rumble on, no doubt.
definitely. Right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Again, you'll catch us tomorrow. We'll be here. Someone will be here anywhere from about 11 o'clock. I think there will be a preview show maybe today, and Gunslingers is back tomorrow. So lots of content coming for you throughout the week. And
100.
then yeah, big trip Arsenal v Liverpool on Thursday. Really looking forward to that. Take it you're going to be there, Canners?
I'm gonna be there. So yourself.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Hey,
I
listen,
got the
we'll
bug.
try.
I've got the bug.
I got the
I've got the bug,
100%,
man.
man. I have to say, the atmosphere at the Emirates on Saturday was brilliant. Was fantastic. Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have another big one on Thursday. Actually, even though it's League Cup semi-final and Liverpool come in, I think it's
Liverpool,
gonna be I think it's gonna be a big game. So
decent.
yeah, right, cool. On that note, we're gonna wrap up. Appreciate you, and I'll speak to you sometime this week.